Alright, I've never done this like this before, so cool. I'm just in a random parking lot right now. Sort of, I don't know, just felt it would be interesting to do this. I don't know, but it's a lot. And so it's kind of like, I had an idea of where to begin, and suddenly as I start to do this, it disappears. Yeah, it's been quite an interesting week, all things considered. And I'm not talking about in the main world, you know. I'm frankly sick to death of hearing about Charlie Kirk and his death. I could care less at this point. It's burnt. I've been burnt out to it. Not to say there isn't a conversation to be had with it, because it is a very complex one at this point, even though it really should be something, I guess, simple, though it does have its nuances. But that's neither here nor there, because I'm not going to talk about that. I guess I'm going to talk about a lot of other things. So, yeah, clearly I didn't move to Chicago. Not that anyone really gives a shit, I don't think. I mainly do this for myself anyway. And this is kind of just, you know, this is for me. But it's like, I didn't move to Chicago. And yeah, I was there on Saturday. I got there on Saturday. I arrived there by plane with a relative to get my stuff back. And I did every sort of plan I've had in recent times has kind of gone to bits. And I guess, you know, to be fair, I didn't follow through with it, though at the same time with this, you know, I wasn't exactly the one with all the financial workings in it, so I did not have the decision on when I was going back and how long I was going to be there and how much time I had to do things, you know. But the time I had there was fine, because I did notice something, and this isn't to, because it's a beautiful city, but, you know, there's something I noticed with it, and maybe it's just because I'm from a place where it's so abundant, but like I could not be in the city because I can't navigate it without the sun. And at the same time, you know it's interesting for I wouldn't call myself gothic, but I guess that's what it could be described as per se. You know, as much as I am that, it's like, you know, the sun does have a very, you know, healing quality to it that really does help with the head. Because I guess it's kind of interesting now, because I think because I would say today is the kind of official breaking point from it, because I'm not sure how long, because, well, I can almost say it started in April, but I'm not sure. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was also put on pause for a while from other factors. I'm not sure. Well, I could be, but it's hard to put any definitive cause on anything, you know. There's too many nuances to it. But anyway, it was very depressive. It's very depressive, and I know that I'll probably go into it again eventually. At some point, it does happen, but maybe not as bad. I'm not sure. Probably not. I would say I hope not, but hope is just a farce. The only thing I can do is just do what I can do to just go through it, I guess. Platitudes, am I right? But yeah, no, it's interesting because, especially, I mean, it certainly does inform what I look into, because I have been looking into suicidology and stuff, because, you know, I mean, admittedly, I guess I have been suicidal, and stuff like that. That was pretty bad in terms of like not. I don't know. I'm not gonna explain that. I'm just giving general gists. I'd explain more, but I guess because I'm putting this out there, those things, I think you can, because this is going out places, I guess, and it's not exclusively for me, even though it is exclusively for me, if you get what I'm saying. You know, you can find what I'm talking about in everything else. Like, you can pick up the paper trail, and if no, it's not like there's nothing that's going to come out of it, because, you know, something is going to come out of it. There's bits of stuff, and it's not like it's not content. It's more what would be called dark data. But in terms of Pill Eater, verbiage, but I guess same difference at the end of the day if you really look at it. One's just an edgier take, in a way. But, you know, it's really cool because, and you know, I guess I'll talk about this. I was gonna say that. You know, it's really interesting because the entire 5 days I did not have any sort of nicotine, and it's interesting because I completely broke the habit just in the 5 days. Like, earlier I went and I ran into a homeless person that I'm friends with, and like, yeah, I did smoke with them, but it was like, you know, I don't have any urge for it. Like I don't, like, it just died. Like everything, like, because it really did culminate over the last few days, like over the trip. Like, it really ended it started to sort of dissipate while I was in Los Alamos. But like before, it was like just hammering. And I'm kind of ecstatic, and I'm not very great with words when I have to talk out loud like this. I guess I'm more of a writer. I like to be able to think my things out, and I prefer mistakes that are crossed out with a pen, because I find stumbling over words audibly kind of annoying when having to listen to things myself, so I hate doing it whenever I make recordings. So I guess I could edit out ums and stuff, but I don't like that. But anyway, yeah, that was cool. That's cool. Though, you know, 5 days, it does remain to be seen. I don't have any urge or interest. It's just a tool of derealization at the end of the day. You know, socially I'll have it, like with the homeless person, but, you know, I don't really care at this point. So with that, you know, and I'm looking, and, you know, I was looking through it, and it's like, why couldn't I also stay in Chicago? Because clearly it wasn't because of the sun, and I'm jumping from thing to thing because there's a lot to talk about, or I guess for me. And it's like, I'm reading through it at the same time, and it's like, you know, I'm reading, and I thought, it's funny to think how I thought I was capable of it. It's not like I'm not, and it couldn't be if I really tried. And I did try. It's not to say that I didn't, though there's other things in that I'll talk about in a second. It's not that I didn't try. It's just that it didn't work out, and that I probably shouldn't have attempted it at this time, though I don't think that there was any better time to have attempted it, because now was the time. You know, but reading through, like, my own personal notes to, like, I guess myself or whatever, and it's like, yeah, no, I really shouldn't have, like, there wasn't the clarity that I thought there was in my head. And I'm even writing it too. It's like, you know, there's like, you know, I'm like even writing it in there while also saying like, but I'm absolutely sure of this, and it's like, that's not to say I wasn't sure of it and that it couldn't have worked out. It's just that it wasn't in the right place for it, and took a while. Still is taking a while. It's not instantaneous. This is just very, I guess, sort of ecstatic day because I got my shit back, and I basically, everything's great right now. But the grass is always greener, and what goes up must come down. But right now, I'm just gonna walk up. Platitudes, am I right? Which, I'm writing a thing on that. But anyway, I did technically, I did run away from Chicago initially, and I mean I ran away from here, and I guess it's understandable, but I think it's funny in hindsight. Though I do have, it's not like I don't. There's not like minor pieces of wreckage within that, and things that didn't harm, that unintended consequences, which I thought I foresaw them and I thought it through, but I clearly didn't. And it's interesting in hindsight to realize all of that, even though I did think it all out at the same time, and it absolutely would have worked, but it's just the way things worked, and just all of the other factors going on with everything, and and it's not like I'm making excuses or anything. I'm just giving additional reasons aside from my head. It's like, and aside from my head, having been there twice now, and it's not like I spent all that much time really exploring it, so I can't say all that much. I didn't get a full integration or understanding of the atmosphere of the city, or I guess its atmospheres. It's quite diverse, but I guess in a way of comparison, my thing is theory, and my practical application is on a very personal, and the grandiosity of it is via a minor scale, not in a massive scale. And Chicago would be a minor scale job in a massive environment that I would have to do, and I was gonna try and do DoorDash. I'd never wanted to drive in the first place. I hate driving, and I'm naturally not a very aggressive driver. I have no genuine fuck to give about driving. And it's not like it's reckless, though it is kind of reckless. Certain people have been in the car with me that might be watching this. I don't know. It's like, I didn't want to drive, and it's very apparent in how I drive often. But, I'm not an aggressive driver, and I couldn't, and it just wouldn't be within my limits. And it's not like I couldn't be an aggressive driver if I wanted to be, if I really tried it. It's just, it would be a lot more detrimental to me, because that would really put me at a disregard. Because in order for that to happen, I'd have to, I guess, remove what's in my head, a sense of self-preservation, because I'd rather not die or get in a car accident, especially right now, considering I don't have insurance. But that's currently, not then. Though I did actually get in a car accident when I was in Chicago. That's actually kind of funny. I think I said something about that once before. But it's like, it's so busy and overwhelming with the amount of people that I would have to just interact with and deal with, that it would be too exhausting for anything else to be done. And it's a difference in I guess, ability and understanding of what I'm capable of, even though I know I'm probably capable of that and absolutely could, if I really put my mind to it, do that sort of thing. It would just be more detrimental to me than it would be beneficial in the long run, when I really consider it after, I guess, not exactly thorough observation per se, but somewhat close observation with a few instances. Though, from what I come to understand, those instances would be the general gist of that. And that's not to shit on it. It's cool in its own way. It's just not the environment that I could, like, I'm not a people person. Why, like, I guess just plain and simple. And it's just a different variety of a mass of people, But it's not to say I won't go there. And I have a lot of plans too now. Like right now, I'm just here. I'm saving up. I want to get like a small house, or honestly, if anything, as much as I don't like driving, I'd get and I hate how big it would. I mean, I guess I could convert what I have now, but that would be kind of stupid considering how much of a shit car it is. I could get like some sort of like a small RV and just drive around. I really have considered doing that. I just need to get my money back to a safe spot and to be able to afford that. Or just some sort of thing, like that. But that's just a personal basis, I guess. But it's not like it can't be done. I've done it. I've done as much before. I can do it all again and more. I know what to do, and I do it well. But yeah, it's very much. I repeat a lot of the same phrases like that. I don't know. I guess it's just my regular vocabulary. I don't know. Side note on that. But yeah, that didn't work out. But fuck the past. Even though, without the past and memories, a person is nothing. With them, it's just baggage. I don't, it's like I couldn't see the future. I couldn't see tomorrow, like the next day, and I still, I guess, kind of have this mentality, though it's now more just back to being the normal nocturnal tendency I have. I don't know, but it's like, there was a point, not like up until last week. Last week, where it was like I couldn't imagine another day, so I would be staying up so I could just see that there was another day, just to be sure, which is interesting. I guess it was sort of superstitious, but it was more in like a precautionary way, even though it's like I know I would not do something to myself. It's just an interesting way of looking at things. I don't know. It's interesting, knowing what you know, but then comparing it with everything else, but then also knowing what you know. I like that. I don't know. There's a great thing by Mao called On Contradiction. Read that. Take that for an explanation. But no, it's very interesting, and I do have plans, and I think, I was thinking about it. I was like, I was talking about how, I don't think it could be done. I don't think it could be done. You know what? Fuck it. It can be done here. I think the Witches' Sabbath can be done in this state, or maybe maybe in El Paso again. I don't know. I think it should, the idea is for it to be all over, and that's not to say I'm co-opting it, because I'm not. I'm just saying, I think it can be brought here, in a way, because, and not maybe in my own sense, because I have a lot of ideas that I think would work for it, but that's for April. That's for April 31st, 30th, and May 1st. That's still a ways away, but I've been working on that since I've gotten back here earlier today. So, yeah, I am doing a lot, and a lot has happened, and I also made that book, Riotous Reality, new book. It's on lulu.com. Currently it's only an ebook, but I hope to be able to make a printable edition so that I can give it a good cover rather than just a fucking boring neon green cover. So, yeah, once I get more money. And then I hope then I'm gonna probably put all these little things, all the other little zines I've made and whatever up there for ebook or whatever. And it's not like I expect anyone to buy them, it's just kind of like it's there. And I'll also put them for free elsewhere, just scatter it about, just see what happens, digital chaos. I don't know. I'm having a good time with everything right now. It's very interesting. And then there's another thing, because when I was in Chicago on, I think it was the first day I was there was a protest that there was. And I don't know, I guess I will talk about all this stuff now, because I'm done talking about all that stuff, and why not? I can talk about whatever the fuck I want, because this is for me, and why not? I must seem kind of schizophrenic. I don't know, I doubt it. I think I definitely misused that word. Anyway, well, I didn't misuse it, I just used it in the typical sense. Anyway, I am a bit stoned, so there is that, but celebratory. Anyway, it's kind of like, I guess that's kind of why I seem scatterbrained, but hey, anyway. It's all been very interesting, but yeah. I lost my train of thought, though. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about protest. Yeah, so there's the protest I saw, and I think I got a video of it. I might have just gotten a picture. Yeah, I got a video of it. I might have just put it on my Instagram story. We'll see. But anyway, it's not from that, but there was this sort of interesting thing after that. After I saw that, it was like, there's this, and I don't want to blame it completely on what was going on in my head as well, but it was like, there was that in my head, and it was like, all of a sudden there was this sort of like, something really weird is going on right now. Something is really off. Something's like, there was some sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like there was just this sort of, and I don't want to say this in hindsight, because it seems like I'm probably saying this in hindsight, but it was like there's this sort of like, I don't know, it was just this weird, I guess, energy that, or just gut sense that I had, and it was like, this is gonna be something weird's gonna, like, it's not like this hasn't been a weird year already, and it's like, and it's like, this is, and you know, I expected it to probably be personal just because of how everything goes, but and also my head at the time. But it was like something weird and really off-putting is gonna happen this week, and it's not just gonna be one thing, but it's gonna be a series of things. And it was like, because I had already had kind of like almost close calls with like almost losing my phone, which would have disabled me from getting into a storage unit, which would have disabled me from getting my shit, which would have disabled me from getting here and being here right now and having a good time. Because as Marilyn Manson said on a actually, it's interesting, he did the interview for a radio station in this state. Anyway, he was like, don't get high when you're sad, and that's absolutely true. Only do it when you're happy, because then it's fun, and then you don't have a bad head. But it's like, you know, though you do lose your train of thought, especially if you haven't had it in a good bit. So, you know, it's starting to hit. It was a 500 milligram sativa gummy, which I'm not usually one for sativa, but lately like the last few times I've had anything, it's been sativa, and it's been kind of more enjoyable. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe it's just because it's not a depressant. And it's not to say that weed's a depressant, but I'm using depressant in more of a sense that it's a relaxant, and that indica causes a more sort of vegetative state. But anyway, I had that sort of like feeling, okay, something's off. Something is off. And the week's not even over yet. Something more shit could happen, honestly. You know, I mean, for one, I mean, obviously Charlie Kirk. And, you know, there's a lot to say on that. But I guess the general gist is, I'll hold him to his own standards if you understand what I'm saying there. And, you know, that's all there is to say about that. Though, at the same time, it makes really no sense. It's very similar to Harvey Milk. If anyone knows who that is, if any people who don't know who Harvey Milk is should look him up. And then Nepal. Nepal has been beautiful lately. It's absolutely beautiful. To sound like Donald Trump. Then, yeah, Charlie Kirk got shot. And then, in concurrence with that, there were two other shootings in succession that day, one at a high school and then one of two Democratic lawmakers. But the only one being focused on is Kirk. Though I guess that's because he was a commentator and it was live and it is celebritarian. Because if you die and there's no one watching and your ratings drop and you're forgotten, if they kill you on the TV, you're a martyr and a lamb of God. And with that, I'm just gonna say, done.